the job market is still hiring, guys. I want to share this video real quick. Let me dig in here. Let me jump in here real quick.
Well, there's a big disconnect between the headlines and between the data. If you look at what's really happening with layoffs, 2022 was the year on record with the smallest number of layoffs. Layoffs are only above average in three sectors: tech, finance, and trucking. But elsewhere in the economy, they are way, way below normal levels.
So
you heard what she said. Tech layoffs are happening in tech, right? Finance.
2022 was the year on record with the smallest number of layoffs. Layoffs are only above average in three sectors: tech, finance, and trucking.
Tech, finance, and trucking are where the layoffs are happening the most this year. But 2022 in general, you think about all the prior years, layoffs are a lot less than other years, going back to the early 90s. So yes, we're talking about it and it's happening, right? But it's not like it's the end of the world. The economy is still strong.
But elsewhere in the economy, they are way, way below normal levels.
So that right now tells you what? I mean, I hear that and I go, well, not sustainable. Hammer's about to fall. It's going to catch up with small biz and everybody else eventually. But how do you see it?
Well, there are certainly risks ahead. I mean, investment has collapsed. Business investment in home building, in software development, in research and development, in equipment have all cooled substantially in response to the Fed's rate hike.
So what does that mean, right? Investment, she says, has collapsed. What does that mean, guys? Well, that means that in some of us who are in sales, right? Companies are slowing down what they're buying. Companies are slowing down what they're buying. So budgets are being put on hold. Hiring is being put on hold. Layoffs are happening. Companies aren't getting the funding that they need to grow. The housing market, of course, you've seen what's happened there. Some builders are going bankrupt. Nobody's buying at this point in time unless you have cash, right? So there's a lot that's going on here. Let's continue on.
And we know that investment is necessary for this level of job growth to be sustainable. But the U.S. consumer can take us a pretty long way. I mean, if you've heard recent earnings calls like Uber's yesterday, they said, yeah, we're seeing businesses pull back, but the consumer is still so strong that the business is roaring. And that's what Main Street businesses are experiencing. Small businesses are seeing enormous numbers of customers come through the door. They can't keep up on the hiring front, and that means that they're still adding jobs just to fill their immediate business needs.
And you guys have some access to this churn, to what's happening in the labor market, especially with these tech workers who have been laid off, and we're generally finding work pretty quickly. I mean, is that still true? Is there anything in the recent weeks even that tells you that these dynamics are changing?
We conducted a survey of laid-off workers in January. We just closed it, and those are workers who were laid off since July 1st. And the findings are quite striking. So among those laid off in the last 6 months, 42% have found new jobs that pay more than the jobs that laid them off.
Wow.
Look at what she said, guys. And I will go back to this statistic. Okay, I'll go back to the statistic that she put up here. All right. What's up, Ladder Climbers? This is Antoine Wade. I wanted to interrupt this video to talk to you guys about Course Careers. Course Careers is the place that you guys need to go if you have a high interest into tech sales. They will help you gain the skills that you need so that you can enter the tech sales world to make a whole bunch of money. Tech sales salaries early on is about $60,000, guys. That's a good salary. And with OTEs, you can make anywhere from $85,000 to $90,000. If you have an interest in tech sales, check out Course Careers, link in the description. And don't forget to use Antoine50 so that you can get a $50 discount off of Course Careers. See you guys in tech sales. Hiring spree. 79% of recently laid off workers found a new job within 3 months. Okay? 40% found jobs less than a month after they began searching. I know a ladder climber who literally found a job after they've been laid off in 3 weeks. Getting paid more money. Right? So The job market is interesting, guys. The layoffs are happening and we're talking about it. And again, I don't want to scare you guys who are looking to make the transition into tech or tech sales or, sales engineering or AI and data analytics and so forth. Guys, continue to go because there is such a need out here. It may not just be some of the high tech companies. And I will tell you like this, right? And this is what I've spoken about multiple times to many of my mentees and so forth. A lot of them are coming out of school or in school and, looking to get into their first job. And they always wanted to work for the Metas, the Facebooks, the Microsoft. And I always just try to steer them away from it, to be quite honest with you, because it's so hard to get into those companies. It's like, again, trying to get into like a Harvard. And you're going to be one of, hundreds of thousands. Right? Are you going to be able to make a significant impact? Probably not. Are you going to be able to leave a legacy behind? Probably not. Right? So why not work for a company that is great in what they do, involved in tech, where you can not just be a large number, right? Or one person amongst 250,000, one person amongst, 100,000. And the only reason that these people wanted to work for these large high-tech companies and big tech companies and FANGs, whatever you want to call it, is because it looked good for their resume. It looked good for the resume. It does. I'm like, you see, this person worked for Google. The first thing you think is, this person is smart. All right, Google hired him, so they must have saw something in him. Maybe I should hire him as well. Or you see somebody who goes to Harvard. You think the same thing. Oh my God, this person is a genius, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's for you. And we're seeing right now that it's not for you. We have people who have just started at like a Google or a Microsoft and got in, and all of a sudden, after 8 months, they're laid off. They're laid off. No, find a company that you believe in after you've done your research and go and work for them. Go and work for them. Could be a company that only has 4,000 employees, 5,000, a couple hundred. You can do so much at a company like that. Spread your wings, grow through the ranks fast, get promoted, make a good amount of money, make more some of the times than what they pay at these top tech companies. So continue to look at tech, but also know that it doesn't have to be big tech, because big tech right now is getting demolished when it comes down to layoffs. They're getting rid of a whole bunch of people.
And the findings are quite striking. So among those laid off in the last 6 months, 42% have found new jobs that pay more than the jobs that laid them off.
Wow.
On average, they've found reemployment within about 8 weeks. And so this is really the best time to be laid off. The labor market is still extremely tight, and there are abundant opportunities.
Look at that, guys. Tech layoffs. Amazon, 18,000. Alphabet, 12,000. Meta, 11,000. Microsoft, 10,000. Salesforce, 8,000. Dell, 6,500. IBM, 3,900. SAP, 2,800. Zoom, 1,300. Spotify, 600. That is a lot of layoffs, guys. And these are big tech companies that a lot of people wanted to work for. And they were hiring like crazy, giving people $400,000 a year, $500,000 a year. They aren't giving people that amount of money right now.
It's never good to be laid off. It always is a shock.
Sure.
Most people who were laid off say that it was a huge surprise to them. They didn't expect it. They didn't see it coming. But many are actually finding that they are coming out ahead.
By the way, the anecdotes you hear from tech companies about how layoffs have happened for the most part are like, it's almost like a random number generator. So in many cases, they are letting highly skilled people go. And I'm sure there's other firms who are desperate for talent who are thrilled to be able to have access to that. So do you think this is one of those kind of production recession, but not employment recession kind of dynamics here?
That is what seems to be the case. We still do have a shortfall in the labor market of about 3.5 million workers compared to the pre-pandemic trend. And you can't lay off what you haven't hired. Many industries, many businesses still have a staffing shortfall. And so they're in no hurry to let workers go.
There you go. There you go, guys. Although the layoffs are happening, there's opportunities that exist out here. And I would say this, guys, it's going to happen to every one of us in our career. It's going to happen. You're going to lose a customer. If you're a W-2 employee, you may get laid off. How do you bounce back? How do you bounce back? Surround yourself with a community. Make sure you understand your value. Talk to a coach. Book a session with the Black Heights and get going. And get going, guys.